now dressed in full drag as a woman, getting ready to strip for all of us. And we're in the front row, and we're just like, all right, we're here for this. This is a story from the road, another story from the road. We were on tour. It was our very first tour in Brand New Sin, where we were out on the road with Motörhead, the legendary Motörhead, Lemmy and company, Morbid Angel, a band called Today Is the Day, and us. And we were on the West Coast. It was the first time that the first time I had ever been on the West Coast. I'd never seen the Pacific Ocean, never been to any of the Pacific Northwest, California. So this was a very exciting part of the tour. And on top of that, we're opening for, some absolute legends. Lemmy and Motörhead are, they pretty much invented modern day heavy metal, one of the godfathers of the genre. So for us to be chosen and be on that tour was pretty crazy within itself, but to also be included with their hijinks and their after show fun was even better. So we had played Portland, Oregon. I believe the place was the Hawthorne Theater. And earlier in the day, this is where the day started, and it's going to kind of be pertinent to where we go with the ending of the story. Earlier in the day, we go up to the venue. We're getting ready to walk in the venue, and Phil, the guitar player from Motörhead, comes running off the bus. I really got to show you something. I've been doing this artwork all night. I got to show you guys this. And the crew is standing behind him on the bus just going, like, don't touch it. Don't feed into it. And we didn't know any better, so he hands us this this pad of paper that he had been sketching on. And it was just random sketches. It made nothing. It looked like a 3-year-old was scribbling on paper, maybe some kind of geometric figure of some sort. And we're like, man, yeah, Phil, I guess it looks great, and he's like, well, it's great. He goes, I wrote this with my ass. And we're like, your ass? He's like, yeah, I jammed the pen up my ass, like literally right up his ass, not like holding it in the butt cheeks, like right up his butt. And he was drawing stuff. So then immediately we dropped the piece of paper, we dropped the pen, and we're just like, oh, that's great. Now, mind you, Phil, I believe, is sober now, and he was not sober then. So he'd probably been up for like 3 or 4 days from what the crew said, had not slept. So this is where the day started. So afterwards, we were invited to go to this bar with the crew and the band. And if anyone doesn't know, Portland is the strip club capital of America. There is more strip clubs per capita, per person, in Portland, Oregon, than there is anywhere else in the country. And I don't think anyone would ever guess that. It would probably guess Vegas or, maybe Atlanta, Georgia, but never Portland, Oregon. So, and how this works is that even your local bars or your corner bars or restaurant at some point in the night would flip to a different style, and a pole would come out or a pole would be revealed, and then you have some strippers come in. So we went over to this place called Berbati's Pan, which we ended up playing a show at later on in our career. I think it was Berbati's Pan, maybe. And we went in there. They had brought some strippers in for, the crew and everybody. And we were in there all night drinking, enjoying the show. At that time, marijuana was not legal yet anywhere in the United States, but it was very, very lax in that part of the country. They didn't bust anybody's balls. So there was a lot of, weed being passed around, and we were just having fun. And then all of a sudden, the curtain closes. They're like, we have a very special guest tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome to the stage the lovely, and I can't remember the name, but the curtains open, and it's Phil, who is yet to sleep, already played the show, who was drawing pictures with his butt the night before, now dressed in full drag as a woman, getting ready to strip for all of us. And we're in the front row, and we're just like, all right, we're here for this. We're here for this. So that's another part of the story. And the next thing you know, we had no idea what time it was. There's no, it's kind of like Vegas in there. There was no clocks on the wall. There's no windows. You had no relative, way of telling what time it was. And then all of a sudden we're standing at the bar. We're getting to know Lemmy. We're talking with him, and then the owner of the club comes running up, and he's like, the cops are raiding the place. We were supposed to be closed hours ago. We got to get out of here. The cops have just pulled up. So we're getting pushed out of the club, but we're literally running through the kitchen. And I remember the door opening to the kitchen out onto the street, and it just being like, you know, you expect it to be nighttime still. No, it was 7, 8 in the morning. The sun was shining. We all come out like vampires, like, you know, and I just like, what is going on? I look up, and I realize I'm standing next to Lemmy, and I'm like, man, this is so rock and roll. This is so rock and roll. This is awesome. This is what I dreamed of as a kid, not just to play the stages around the world with all these legends, but to like have these rock and roll moments. And I wish I knew what I said to Lemmy at that point. I just was like, I probably said like, dude, this is the coolest thing ever. And he just looked at me like, yeah, it's just whatever. It's another day in the life of Motörhead. So yeah. And then we piled in the van and got out of there before the cops got to any of us. So there's a rock and roll story for you, folks.